LJ Young for Dead Ain't My Daddy. How are you guys doing today? Trying this live thing again. Uh, this time I wanted to talk about. By the way, I'm a, uh, I'm a debt free. I'm 100% debt free motivational speaker out of Seattle, Washington. And ever since I became debt free, it's just changed my life. So now I just want to help other people do the same and feel this kind of freedom, right? Because my eyes started to open around 40, 42-ish, and things didn't, things started to make sense and I started questioning everything. But believe it or not, I still didn't know I was in debt. It's the weirdest thing. But anyway, I wanted to tell you guys about how debt free actually found me. Okay, my goal wasn't to. I didn't wake up one day and just go, you know what, I'm gonna be debt free. I don't want no more bills. I didn't do that. Never thought about that way because people, my whole life, everybody around me did the same thing I did. Everybody had car payments, student loans, credit cards, and it was just normal. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not normal. Okay, so let me give you about background of how I got started. Accidentally, it found me. I remember, like, I've been a computer engineer for the last 20 years, like virtualization and the cloud and all that stuff. That's what I did for a living. And making six figures. And I'm saying this money because I want you to understand it's not to brag, it's just to say a person's salary doesn't mean anything inside of the equation of being in debt. I want you to understand it. Just because somebody says they make $200,000 means absolutely nothing unless you know how much debt they're in. If they're making $200,000 a year and they're in 500, $1 million in debt, their salary matters none. Okay, they're in the negative. Okay, so I remember I was staying in a high-rise apartment, paying $1,600 a month. You know those big high-rises with the apartments are so small, but I was paying $1,600 a month for this thing, and with the undercar garage, drive my finance Lexus in there and doing all, so I could just look cool in my gated community. I just always wanted to do that, right? And it was walking distance of the gym, the movie theater. I was like, oh yeah, this is set. I'm good. And I remember leaving out one day, walking through the neighborhood and stuff. And as I was here in the apartment and I was walking but something felt like it was missing. I was like, why am I feeling this way? I got the nice apartment, the nice car, I'm living in a fantastic area. Why am I still feeling like something is missing out of my life? I couldn't, and I couldn't answer the question. I didn't know. I just knew I felt that way. All right. And then all of a sudden, about maybe a month after that feeling started, I needed a loan to pay off something. I forgot. But that's how I always did. I used to get loans to pay off other things. That was just the way I did things back when I was in debt, right? And I've always had a great income, great credit score, paid my bills on time, blah, 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 right? But then I went and got a loan or tried to get a loan, and then they denied me. And I was like, oh, what? What you mean? It's like, wait a minute, banks, you guys told me if I keep my credit good, I can borrow as much money as I want. You guys said that. Now I'm meeting all your criteria, and you're telling me no? Right there, like something went off my head and said, wait a minute, Linnell, something doesn't make sense here. I couldn't put my finger on it still. I was like, what? You're not going to give me no more money, but you're the ones that got me here. Okay. All right. So I said, cool. All right. And that is just stuck on my mind for the longest, man. It just didn't make any sense. And then they told me the debt to income ratio. Oh, your debt to income ratio is too high. I was like, I heard of that before, but let me go read about it now. And then I went to start reading about it. What does it mean? And I was like, basically, I mean, by my debt-free eyes today, it means this debt, you know what debt to income ratio measurement means? How much money can they suck out of you before you have to file bankruptcy? And then when they're like, when you apply for more credit, they look and see these percentage of debt to income ratio. And if you got a little bit of gap there, they'll approve you for the last, $2,000-$3,000 to squeeze every dollar out of you. And then once you're max, you're bankrupted, they already got all their money out of you. They know that's what the measurement really is. Because to the average person, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything, right? But anyway, I started trying to understand that. Then I started getting the realization of what that meant, right? And then I came across, I was just looking, debt, this, debt, 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 debt. I was typing in Google. Then I came across Dave Ramsey, right? And then I started listening to his podcasts and things of that nature, and his things, just his ideas, just made sense to me. It's like, wait a minute, if I add up all my debt, I'm in the negative, so I really don't have any money. So it looked like I had because I got credit cards and stuff, but I really don't have any money. I'm in the negative. Just basic sixth grade math. Nothing fancy. Nothing all those percentages and all that stuff. I didn't have to worry about all that. Am I in the negative? Yes, I need to get out. How do I do it? So I went through his plan, and I mean, I went hardcore, man. I'm not going to go into deep into that. I'll tell you about it later. But I went hardcore. I went all the way in and paid off all my debt in about 2 years, right? 2 years. And once I did that, as I was going along during the process, I started to feel and see things differently than I saw. I see the financial world totally different than what I used to see, how I saw it when I was in debt. When you're in debt, there's certain things you can't see, there's certain things you cannot hear. There's two languages when it comes to money: debt and debt free. People that are debt free can understand debt, but people that have always been in debt, they can't understand debt free because they don't believe debt free even exists unless you're rich. And that's not true. That's totally not true. That's not true at all. Anyway, once I started learning the process, you start to see the bills go away. And then I was starting to get a new understanding of money. All right. And I started finding ways to give myself a raise by learning how to save money, getting the same services that I've always received, like phone, cable, blah, 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 but learning how to get it in a cheaper way. The same exact services and everything, but just instead of going directly, you just take 2 steps out and then come back, and it's not really that big of a deal. But once I became totally debt free, my whole life changed. I ended up quitting my job because I didn't realize how much I was letting. Now, mind you, when I talk about businesses, I don't want you to think I'm talking about the negative, because my job was a business. Banks are businesses. That's business. They know not to put their feelings in the business. All right. They know that. That's no place for that. There's no place for feelings in there. Don't put your feelings in your money. Don't do that ever. And don't put your feelings in your job, which is a business. All right. So let me give you an example of what I used to let things business get away with that I would not tolerate today. All right. If I got hired for like the jobs I usually have, you have an on-call rotation for a week. Like you can be called for 24 hours a day, anytime during that week. That was just standard, right? And then that would rotate every 3 or 4 months, counts on how many team members you have, right? But I was getting calls outside of that on-call rotation any time of the day, any time to, if no matter what I was doing, I had to stop, get on the phone, even when I was on call, when I was not on call. Now, today, how I see that's giving away the time in my life for free. If I signed up for the job and said, hey, by the way, we're going to own you for 24 hours a day for this salary, I would say, no, thank you. Thank you for the interview. Goodbye. But today, I wouldn't allow that. I wouldn't allow them to, come in on my time anytime they feel like it. It's no different than you saying, you know what, you're waking up and you go, you know what, I ain't going to go to work today. And you don't call, you don't do nothing, You get rolled up. You can't do that. You can't say, hey, I'm not going to go in and I'm not even going to tell them. You can't do that. What makes them think they can call you anytime that they want, no matter the time of the day or no matter what you're doing? They can't do that. The only reason why I allowed that, because I was in debt and was fearing losing my job, which really, and I want you to see how the debt puts imaginary fear in your mind that's okay. Now, if your job, now think about it. If your job called you, you say, hey man, you can't call me on my days off. I'm busy. I have a planned event or whatever, right? What they gonna do? Write you up for not working on your day off? They can't do that. They can't do that. I mean, the way I'm saying it, doesn't it sound pretty obvious? You can't do that. Or if they come up to you and say, hey, I need you to work through lunch and this and that. You go, no, thank you. It's got to be a question. You know why? Because it's the law. You have to have a lunch. What are they going to do? Write you up for not skipping your lunch against the law? That's not going to happen. The only reason why we accept behavior like that is because I was in debt. Like if the boss comes in in a bad mood. Like about today, if I was at a job and the boss came in a bad mood and he came and started talking bad to me because something happened at home, I'll say, hey, can I have a meeting with you? And I would say, hey, don't talk to me like that. If you're emotional or something, you need to keep that at home. You can't bring that in here. I say it like that because I'm right. You can't bring emotions into work. If you're having a bad day, you got to know you're having a bad day and need to stay home. I can't come in and can you come into the job and just because you're mad and cuss out the boss? You'll get in trouble. It's no different. It's the exact same thing. The only reason why you hesitate because you're in debt. I was in debt. That's why I went and said it. But as I was becoming debt free and as I became debt free while I was working, I started looking at my job totally different. I didn't look at them as negative. I just thought that these are things I can no longer accept in my life, so I'm leaving. And that's exactly what I did. I left. Because I was debt free. Once I became debt free, it changed my life totally. Now I'm free. Time, when you don't have debt, you own your time again. You own your time. You go get a car payment for 72 months, that car owns you. You don't own that car, it owns you. When you're sitting in traffic and you just think, man, you're sitting in this traffic, you're mad. That's why there's so much road rage. People are sitting in this traffic every single day, 40 plus hours a week, just sitting in there in that finance car. That car is keeping you in that traffic. That insurance that goes, that car insurance and the interest on there, that's what's keeping you in traffic. You don't have to be in that traffic. You're choosing to be in that traffic by being in debt. I'm telling you this because I once believed that I had no choice but to be in this traffic every day. I thought I had no choice. It's not true. It's not true. So this is how debt-free found me. Now, I can't even help it, but want to help other people. Let me tell you why. Because I'm gonna give you some information. How through my debt-free eyes, and I'm gonna tell it to you guys so you guys can get an idea of what it sounds like, what you say, things you say that you tell people that you're in debt. Okay, you tell them without even knowing you're telling them. All right, let me give you an example because people in debt like to say these things out loud, not realizing who's around you. Okay, that you're telling people. Now, if you say, oh man, I'm not answering that, it's probably a bill collector. You just told everybody you're in debt. Only people in debt have bill collectors after them. I don't have bill collectors after me because I owe nobody anything. Oh man, this student loan crisis is outrageous. Not to me, it's not. You know why? Because I'm not in it. Get out of it. You don't have to be in it, but you got to get serious to get out of it. And here's a few things that, again, Debt in My Debt is designed to show you things that don't make sense when you're in a debt world, but you never question it. Okay? And you're going to laugh. This is going to be funny. All right? You guys ready? You guys ready? Here we go. When somebody asks you, what's your credit score? Why does the person always throw out one score? Like, oh, my credit score is a 740. You have 3 credit scores, 740, 6 something. Why don't people go, oh, my credit score is 740, 700, and 701? How come they don't say it like that? You have 3 credit scores. Why just the highest one? So when you guys say that, I think, oh, they're just telling me the highest credit score. And there's 3 credit bureaus, 3 different scores, and only one of you. That makes absolutely no financial mathematical sense at all. But guess what? Nobody even questions it. They don't go, why do we got 3 credit scores and it's only one of me and they're all different? Nobody questions it. All right. Here's another one. Say like you go into a car lot, right? You just checked your credit and you saw that your credit was 750, right? On TransUnion. Can you walk into the dealership and say, hey, when you run my credit, make sure you use the credit score on TransUnion? Have you ever even thought to even ask that question? Does that make any sense to you? You know why it doesn't make any sense to you? Because it's designed to be confusing and keep you in debt. How do you know they're not using your lowest of the 3 scores so they can charge you the highest interest rate? Nobody ever questions that. They go, oh, okay. Did I get it? Yeah. Does it make any sense? No. Now, I'm just saying, you know why I'm saying this? Because I didn't see that when I was in debt. I didn't see that. I did not see that. And okay, now I'm gonna bring you into the debt-free side of things, okay? Debt-free side of things. All right, so I'm gonna just listen to what I'm saying. And if you don't really believe what I'm saying, trust your math. Okay? Forget what I'm saying. If my math is right, I gotta be right. All right? When you go finance, as soon as you mention the word finance, you know what you're really saying? I'm going to agree to pay the bank more for that car than what it's actually worth. That's what you're saying. You're saying, hey, I'm going to pay you. I know that car's 30,000, but I'm going to finance it for 72 months, and I'm going to pay you whatever it ends up being with my interest rate. You're agreeing. So how are you ever going to get ahead financially if you keep paying more for things than what they're worth? Everybody doesn't have a car note. That's not true. I always heard that. That's not true. That's totally not true. Here's another one. All right, you guys ready? It's going to make sense. Just go by the math, okay? When they run your credit, why do they go by your gross income? Your money before taxes are taken out. Why do they go by money that you're never even going to get? They go by your gross income. Right there alone, beside the financing, right there alone is putting you upside down in that car already without you only got the keys in your hand. You don't even got the keys in your hand. And you're already going upside down, going by money that you're not even going to get. What, they taking out the IRS or something? You think the IRS is not going to get their cut first? That's not true. Okay? Here's another one. You guys ready? Oh, it's not going to, I know it seems funny, but I'm going to use these analogies so you guys can get what I'm saying, because it is what it is. It's true. All right? When you go to go buy a new car at the dealership, right? You know, why do you prepare yourself to be there all day? Everybody's like, oh man, I'm gonna be there for 4 or 5 hours. Oh man, I'm gonna be there, and you're ready for it, right? You just okay. That's just they got the little kid station set up so your kids can play there all day. It's designed for like that, to wear you out, to ready to sign the papers for anything. Now, let me tell you. Now I'm gonna give you the debt-free eye things, okay? If you had the cash for that car, you walked into that car lot and you said, hey, here's the cash for that car. And the dealership guy took it and said, okay, I'll be back. Sit down there for 3 hours. Would you sit down there for 3 or 4 hours? And the car sitting right there and say, oh, yeah, the car, just sit there for 3 or 4 hours. You wouldn't sit there for 3 or 4 hours. You'd be in and out of there in 30 minutes. And you would say, hey, if you don't got that paperwork done in 30 minutes, I'm leaving. I'm going down the street to buy the car at another place. They would get it done. It doesn't take all day to buy a car. They only do that. They only do that to you because why? Because you're financing it. You're going to wait to see if you're going to get approved for that thing, that depreciating object with interest. That's what it is. That's what a car is, nothing more. A depreciating object with interest. And you're willing to wait all day. And they hope you bring your kids in there. You better believe they hope you bring your kids in. Because after about 3 or 4 hours, those kids start to get cranky and they start running around and not listening. And you ready to sign those papers just to get out of there. Whatever. Bring it here. I don't care. I know I said I know a 300-month payment, but you said 4. Okay, whatever. Bring me the paper and you're going to sign it. You'll figure it out. You'll figure the rest out later. It's designed that way. I'm not knocking business. All right? It's business. But I want you guys to see what it really is. It's designed that way. Cell phones are worse. You think financing a car is bad? Financing a cell phone? Don't ever say you're making payments on a cell phone out loud. Ever. You don't know. You have no idea who's around you. That says a lot. Don't ever say that. Oh yeah, I'm just making, $35 a month payment on my cell phone. Don't say that out loud ever. You have no idea what you're telling whoever's around you. You don't know who's around you that manages money well. Because if I heard that, I would say that person's broke. Why? Why would you make payments on a cell phone? You got to stop and think. The minute you get ready to sign some paper on a cell phone, you go, I've been working all my life. And you say like you're in your 40s or 50s now. You mean to tell me I don't have $500, $1,000 cash to buy a cell phone? What is wrong with me? That's what I should have said to myself. But you know what? I had nobody around me that knew about money because they would have told me. They would have said, hey, Linnell, you're doing it wrong. I'm not saying I would have listened, but all I'm saying is this. Believe me when I say this. This is why I'm so passionate about it. I want people to feel this freedom. I'm free. I can do anything I want. And no, I'm not rich. I'm starting this debt-free business to help people. I'm passionate about it. And you know how I can prove I'm right? Just with math. Now, if people choose not to believe the math, I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about that. But I'm trying to reach people that are living paycheck to paycheck, but cannot figure out why. No matter how much more money they make, no matter if they get 3 jobs, they're still living paycheck to paycheck and cannot figure out the reason why. I have the answer. You're not going to like it, but it's the answer. I promise you. If you like this and you like and you want more of these, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you got any questions, you can reach me at deadaintmydaddy@gmail.com. All one word, deadaintmydaddy@gmail.com. If you got any questions, you need my help, $99, I'll help you. I'll get you started. All you got to do is get started. Earlier I said I was going to start this. I'm starting a series called Through My Debt-Free Eyes, so you guys can see the version of me when I was in debt versus how I see things now that I'm out of debt. All right, and I want to share these with you so I can help as many people as I can feel this kind of freedom, because you don't people in debt don't know what they say out loud because that's all they know. So I'm here to help. All right, if you like it, please subscribe. Again, my name is Linnell Young, representing Dead Ain't My Daddy. If you got any questions, write, comment. I want it all. Hey, even if you don't like what I'm saying, if it doesn't make sense, hey, Linnell, you said something that don't quite make sense. Can you please clarify? I'm glad to clarify it. I promise you. All right? All right, you guys have a wonderful day. All right, bye-bye.